HOA Karen called cops after gifting my ranch lake to her son. Didn't know I control HOA's budget. Subscribe for more interesting HOA stories. Today I am gonna share with you a story about an HOA Karen that called the cops after I gifted my ranch lake to her son. She didn't know that I control the HOA's budget, and she would soon find out how much it costs to maintain a ranch lake. My family and I moved to our dream home in the mountains of Colorado 2 years ago. We absolutely love our new house. It has breathtaking views. Our kids love the open space around them to explore, and we felt like we got the American dream. Our house is part of a homeowners association. The monthly dues are quite high because we have a lot of shared amenities. For example, there is a ranch lake in the middle of the community where people can go fishing or just relax by the water. 2 months ago, our HOA sent out a notice that one of the houses in our community was going into foreclosure. They didn't mention which house, but they warned us to be careful if someone tried to sell us their house for really cheap because it would probably be a scam. A few days later, we had someone approach us about buying their house. They said they were the family whose house was going into foreclosure. Their youngest son would be going off to college soon, and they couldn't afford to keep 2 houses. They were hoping to sell their house to one of their neighbors, so their son could still live in the house until he finished school. After discussing it with my wife, we decided to offer them half the price of their house. They accepted right away, so we had their house deeded over to us. We told them we'd let their son stay in the house, rent-free, until he finished school. We also learned that the parents had given their son power of attorney so that he could sign documents on their behalf. But the son wasn't living at home. He was already in college in another state. When the HOA received the deed for the house, they contacted us to let us know that the transfer was denied because the parents did not have the power of attorney. Apparently, the parents needed to sign the deed over directly to us. So the parents came over to our house to sign the deed. That is, when we found out that they were actually scammers, and that all this was just a giant scam. They told us that they had set up dozens of homeowners associations across the country. Each HOA had a ranch lake that they funded for the first year. Then after that, they convinced residents to buy the houses around the lake, so that they could move in and make the HOA pay for their mortgages. Then once they had enough homes surrounding the lake, they would turn around and sell those houses to unsuspecting victims like us. They said that they picked us because our house was closest to the lake. We confronted them with the evidence we found, and they admitted that their plan was to force the HOA to buy back their house from us at a fair market price, because their plan with us fell apart. The mum, who was the HOA president, seemed really upset, and she started rambling about how she was going to take down the entire board. She said that she was going to get rid of everyone on the board except for her. Then she would use the HOA funds to buy back her house. She left before we could respond, but I knew exactly what she was doing. She was trying to threaten me into selling her the house back for cheap, so she could flip it for a profit. But I wasn't going to let her do that. Not only was I not going to sell her my house, I was going to get her removed from the HOA board. At the next HOA meeting, I made a motion to remove the president, vice president and treasurer from the HOA board because they failed to do their job. They let a delinquent account sit for 2 years, which resulted in a foreclosure on the HOA's property. Everyone on the board had known about the problem since the beginning, but they did nothing. All of them, except for the president, voted to remove them. Then I nominated myself for president, and the board voted me in unanimously. Now I'm the president, vice president, and treasurer of our HOA. It's been 2 weeks since then. Things have been going great. The new accountant is getting our finances in order, and the new landscaping company is working hard to fix up the neglected grounds around the ranch lake. That's when the chaos started. I began receiving messages from residents asking me why I had evicted their friends. They said they'd heard that I'd kicked the family out of their house and changed the locks on their house. I told them that I hadn't evicted anyone, but I've had it confirmed that the scammers never lived at the house. It was always empty except for the son. The mum had posted on Facebook that I'd thrown her family out of their house. She said she hoped that karma would come back to bite me. One of our neighbors commented that she'd heard rumors about what the scammers had planned for the neighborhood, and she was glad that someone finally stopped them. The mum saw that comment and sent me a message saying that she'd like to talk to me. I told her that we could meet at my house or at the HOA office. She said she'd meet me at the HOA office. I arrived at the HOA office first and I waited for her. When she arrived, she immediately started yelling at me. She said that I had no right to take her family's house. She demanded that I give her family back their house. She threatened to sue me for everything I had. I remained calm and polite, and I told her that her family signed the deed over to us. I said that if she wanted to pursue legal action against us, she should talk to her own lawyer. She kept yelling at me and calling me names. She said that I'd ruined her family's life. She accused me of stalking her family and recording her. She said that she was going to destroy me. She took deep breaths several times during our conversation, but I didn't say anything. I figured she just needed to blow off some steam. Then she turned to leave. That's when I told her that her family owed the HOA $28,000 in delinquent dues. She turned back around and asked me what she could do to make it right. I told her that her family needed to pay the HOA dues or the consequences would be severe. She said that she had money and she could easily pay the HOA dues. I told her that wouldn't fix the problems that her family caused. She asked what else she could do, and I told her that I needed her to post a public apology on Facebook and other social media sites. I told her that she needed to tell the truth about what her family tried to do to our community. She looked like she wanted to argue, but she decided to walk away instead. Later that day, she posted a long message on Facebook. In the message, she admitted that her family tried to scam our community. She apologized for trying to ruin our lives. She said that her family would pay the HOA's legal fees and repair costs. The HOA board met yesterday to discuss what actions to take against her family. We reviewed security footage from every camera around the lake. We found out that her family put rocks and dirt in the lake. They tried to bury pipes under the lake. They tried to steal lights from the lake. They damaged the pumps that circulate the water. And they did everything they could to destroy the lake. The damage estimate is over $1 million. Since the HOA doesn't have $1 million, the residents will vote on whether to sue the family. When I woke up this morning, I went to check on the lake to see if they'd done any more damage overnight. That's when I saw that they'd dug up most of the grass around the lake. I also noticed that they'd stolen one of the signs that directs traffic. I decided to look at the security footage again. I found the family digging up the grass and stealing the sign. So I called the police and filed charges against them. The sheriff's department came out and took a report. Then the HOA president called me and asked why I was damaging the lake. She told me to stop filing false police reports. I told her that I wasn't doing any damage. I told her that I was repairing the damage that her family caused. She told me that she'd make sure that I'd regret becoming HOA president. I laughed and told her that she should worry about her own problems instead of mine. Her son, who's the actual owner of the house, contacted me earlier today. He said that he was sorry that his parents tried to scam our community. He said that he'd pay the delinquent HOA dues and help repair the damage at the lake. He said that he wanted to apologize in person. So I invited him over to my house. He brought me a giant fruit basket and a bottle of whiskey. We talked for hours about fixing up the lake. He wants to lead the charge to restore the lake. He said that he knows how to work with people. He's interned at a few companies while attending college. He asked if I'd let him run a survey to see how many residents would donate money to restore the lake. I told him that I thought it was a great idea. The residents really like his son. They love that he's humble and respectful. Many residents have donated thousands of dollars to restore the lake. We'll hold a vote at the next HOA meeting to see if we should accept his donation. If we do, the HOA board and his family will work together to fix up the lake. If we don't accept the donation, the residents will vote on whether to sue the family for the cost of repairs. Thank you for listening to my story. Please remember to share this story with your friends.